Hey guys, it's Scott from fxmissions.com. Just a note, I've finished the trilogy of Anthologies from the Forefront, and all 3 books are currently available on Amazon. Welcome to From the Forefront, an FX Missions podcast. Stories about courageous souls who felt the call of missions and obeyed. Hi, Scott McClelland here for your FX Missions Leadership Moment. Hope you're doing well today. Thanks for tuning in. It's good to have you along. Our purpose here at the Leadership Moment is to encourage you in your leadership aspirations and your leadership endeavors, to equip you for the future and things you might not have faced yet as a leader, and to encourage you to step out, go forward, take initiative. That's what leadership's all about, acting. Just contemplation can make us think we're leaders, but without action, we dare not prove it. So I want to encourage you guys in that. I'd like also to ask you to share with your friends, with coworkers, perhaps those you go to church with or in ministry with, about Leadership Moment. And also, let us hear from you in terms of feedback. We'd love to hear from you about stuff you'd like to see on the Leadership Moment, the way it may have had a connection with you, or maybe you got encouraged by something we shared. Really look forward to hearing from you and getting your input. On the subject of input, I'm here requesting it once again. As I'd mentioned in a previous podcast, we are working now behind the scenes on a series called Profiles in Leadership. Profiles in Leadership. We're asking for your help specifically about which leaders you would like to see featured in Profiles in Leadership. Which leaders would you like to know more about, to discover more about, or you're just generally interested in perhaps? Now, we're choosing from a few categories. We're going to develop part of our series. The leaders that will be featured are from history, general history. Secondarily, we're going to be digging in, if you will, as a part of our series on leaders from the Old Testament. And finally, leaders from the New Testament will also be featured. We've currently got a poll running on Facebook at facebook.com/leadersmoment, facebook.com/leadersmoment, where we're asking you to give us ideas about who we should feature. If you would like to send us your feedback there, please do. You can go to facebook.com/leadersmoment and take the poll for New Testament, Old Testament, or someone from history. We've got some suggestions there, but if you don't like the ones we're suggesting, they're only ideas. Feel free to leave your specific suggestion in the comments. And also, if you don't mind, tell us why you'd like to hear more about that leader. We really need your input and guidance on this, and we really will benefit from it. And not only us, but all of us will benefit and be better off together from that standpoint. Now, as I think about leaders from the Old Testament, there's a lot of really good ones in there. A lot we can learn from, even if they weren't good leaders. So we can learn from the good, we can learn from those who wasn't so good, and we can hopefully inform our own perspective and inform our own approach. My mind goes to Gideon in the Old Testament. Gideon was something of an unlikely leader. In fact, when he appears on the scene, he's actually hiding, trying to do some stuff, some work so that he can have food to eat, but he's doing it in a way so that he can conceal his activities from these raiding bands that are a scourge on the land and keep passing through. They're in a bad spot. Perhaps you are finding yourself, and maybe the environment around you or in your family or things you're encountering, maybe your work, your ministry, your business, you're in a bad spot. Gideon demonstrates to us that we can receive inspiration and instructions, even in the midst of a very difficult scenario, and we can stand up from there and take decisive action that pushes back the circumstances that we're in and actually changes the environment that we're in because of the actions we take. And in his case, obviously, he receives specific instructions. He was reticent to accept his commissioning. He wanted lots of proof, and sometimes we're like that too. He wanted lots of proof of, hey, give me this sign. Okay, that was pretty good. But what I really meant to say is give me this opposite sign. So we're often looking for signs, and we're trying to generate the confidence or to grab a hold of the confidence that it's going to take for us to act decisively and see our circumstances, see our difficulties, see our challenges overcome. And so that, I think Gideon offers us very, very much to look at. I'm hoping you guys choose Gideon. I'm going to vote for Gideon from the Old Testament. Hopefully I'll get to vote more than once. But it's leaders like Gideon that inspire me to want to dig in to these profiles in leadership. What are some of your favorites from Scripture? Who do you identify with as a leader? Who do you say, yeah, I see some of my own potential in this character in Scripture? Maybe you've got someone from Old Testament, New Testament history. Maybe maybe like me, you've got favorites picked out from each. So who do you want to dig into? Who would you prefer to know more about? And we're going to collectively, we'll pull our study together, and we'll actually be featuring some people who have something to say specific to these individual characters that are chosen by you. Maybe not experts, but people who've spent maybe years and even decades studying these lives. So we're hoping to add value to you there. Maybe you want to offer a least favorite. Yes, Saul, the first king of Israel, he's someone I'd like to see featured because I can't stand his guts. You may not put it that way, but you know what I'm saying. Saul was very much a leader who created contrast in the environment, if we're going to be upbeat, right? He's probably somebody we're going to study, and we're going to look at his leadership. We're going to do a profile on him. And what we're hoping also to do with this profiles is to help you get a deeper dive, add some resources to you, and also inspire and encourage your own self-study on these particular leaders from history. Even if you have a leader from history who's still alive that you'd like to see featured, please let us know. History is in its own way, it's only been studied as its own discipline in recent times. So we want to dig in here and help you go deeper in the subject. Now, if you don't like to do polls on Facebook, which a lot of people don't, I don't spend a lot of time over there myself. If you want to send your response by email, you can send your suggestions or feedback or, anything you'd like to see featured on these profiles in leadership to LM, as in Leadership Moment, LM at fxmissions.com. Once again, that's LM at fxmissions.com. Or if you prefer the Facebook route, just go to facebook.com/leadersmoment. And there are some polls there. Take a look at our pictures. Please do check us out on the web at fxmissions.com. We have some content out there we think will be an encouragement to you and perhaps a challenge as well. So we would love to hear your feedback. Be thinking about us and considering us as we undertake this series, Profiles in Leadership. We appreciate you tuning in to the Leadership Moment. If you have questions, comments, or thoughts for me, you can email me at scott@fxmissions.com. Yes, I am Scott McClelland. For your leadership moment, look forward to hearing your feedback and collecting it and getting started on this Profiles in Leadership series. Until next time, I bid you have a good one. This podcast made possible through the partnership of Engaging Missions Show, bringing missions home, and encouraging you to hear a message, make connections, and take action. Find out more at engagingmissions.com. Thanks for joining us for the FX Missions podcast from the forefront. If you'd like to find out more about FX Missions, please do so at our blog, fxmissions.com. With quite a bit of content out there, we hope you enjoy it. Also, If you'd like to rate us on iTunes or whatever podcast service you use, we would really appreciate it. And find out more about today's guest at our Facebook page. Just search for From the Forefront on Facebook. If you know of someone who should be featured on From the Forefront because of their forefront missions experience or exploits, please reach out to us at info@fxmissions.com. Thanks again for joining us. And until next time, I'm Scott McClelland, and you have a good one.